So I'm sure we're all pretty much aware of bringing something with us like a sleeping bag along with our systems, whether that be a hammock system, ground system or a bivvy system. But one thing I do want to experiment with is bringing my goose down top quilt. I've got a winter and a summer. Now a bivvy for me would be in lieu of a tent. I enjoy bivvy camping, but I do have attachments for it to fit onto a pad. And it's not a new idea introducing a top quilt onto a pad or something like that. That is the one thing I would say, is you're going to need a sleeping pad or an air pad for this, because I just have a top quilt and that doesn't have a back piece on it. So this is the inflatable, and I also have the buffalo system as well, which is really, really nice in the winter. But going with a down top quilt inside a bivvy, pretty lightweight. Here on the bottom is a Dutch Army hoop bivvy, and on the bottom here is a top quilt. Like I said, this is my buffalo 2-part system, but this is just my summer top quilt, and you can see it's a big space saver. I've just got mine in a poly bag just to keep it pretty dry, but look at this. It's just a few grams, a few ounces. It's not a lot at all, and it's really compact. The other element I would need, of course, is the base layer to go into the bivvy. Like I said, I'm using the X-Ped down mat. So this is the Dutch Army hoop bivvy. So it fits in nice into this cot bed stuff sack, which also houses a ground mat there, all the pegs and poles. Most of the pieces you're seeing here are some of my favourite bits of kit I have. And top quilt camping is going to be new to me, and so far at about 6 degrees above Celsius there. It's worked well for me, very well in fact. I just have to watch the zip on the bottom of this bivvy here doesn't snag the actual fabric. So I'm going to put the inflatable in, and then we're going to compare between a sleeping bag and a top quilt. Now I've put my quilt directly inside the sleeping bag liner. Keeps it cleaner, but give it a little more protection, I'm hoping, and just give us a bit of air. So I've gone with putting the down mat actually inside the bivvy. I've had experience of putting an inflatable underneath, like a fool, and it's burst. And that was just a cheap 20-30 quid one. This is like 230 quid. It's coming inside of me, and it really does offer quite a bit of extra value here, having it on the inside. And like I said, with the reflective here underneath, it is amazing the amount of extra value that adds. It's only about 2/3 of the way down the actual bivvy, and haven't got the foot area covered yet with another reflective pad, and my feet were cooler than the top half, which is where I'm keeping my silver reflective. Right, we're going to start with the buffalo first, which is this here, and it's a 2-part sleeping bag, a little like the MSS, but this is the British Mountain Rescue. 2 bags, has this thick pile fibre fleece. Has a Gore-tex on the outside, and this is going straight on top of here now. That's just ready to get in. I'm not going to put the hoop up just yet, but it's about 3 kilos with the buffalo, maybe a bit more, 3.5 maybe. But this, you can see, will replace that buffalo. But if you don't want to compromise yourself over weight, really think about investing in a hammock top quilt, or I think they do ground camping top quilts also. And mine came with some attachments, which I'm not sure. Yeah, I've got them here. That was lucky, wasn't it? And these attach around the actual pad itself and clip on to the actual top quilt itself. But there's an issue I found with that, is it stretches the quilt outwards and makes pockets of air here, and I'd rather tuck mine in, you know, and get it over my shoulders. And I have slept perfectly well without these attachments, which I did pay extra for. Maybe I'll use them one day, maybe not. So already we have a massive weight saving going down the road of a down quilt instead of a sleeping bag. The volume as well, massive saving on the volume. It takes up half the pack, the buffalo system here. So I'm just going to take the boots off and jump in, and I always plan how I'm going to pack everything in an emergency, and a down quilt packs really flat. And what I don't want to be doing is rolling a sleeping bag up into its stuff sack. It takes time, it's laborious, it's a way you're going to get caught for a stealth camp. I don't need to put it in a stuff sack. I just roll the whole bivvy with the sleeping pad de-inflated, still in situ, with the top quilt still in situ inside. It packs flat. On other occasions, I've just shoved everything inside the sleeping bag and use the sleeping bag like a swag. I'm going to take off some of the sharps in my pocket because I don't want to pop the material. Zip 1 of the sleeping bag, zip 2, and a zip on the bivvy, which is done from the inside. Now, I have used this bag system inside a hammock, and it was sub-zero and it was lovely and warm, but it was the wrong kind of hammock. I hadn't sat it up the way I wanted, and it was pinching at the feet because the buffalo system has to be tight. It has to be in order for it to work. But this I've tried just in this configuration, and boy, lovely and warm. I can't wait to take this out. But to go lightweight, I can't wait also to take out my goose down quilt. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of fiddling about. 2 zips that are tight. It's a tight sleeping bag. Everything has to be tight in order for it to work well. But once you're in, that's it. You'll sleep sound till the morning, apart from if you get to my age where you're up on the hour every hour for a pee. This becomes a pain in the ass. There's where a top quilt is brilliant. Like I said, it's just more like a quilt with a foot box and a place to toddle it up against your neck. You're in and out of that in seconds. So we're going to try that next, but there's nothing wrong with this. I may even put the hoop section up on the bivvy now, as well as putting the quilt in. So time to put the buffalo system here back in its bag, and then we're going to do exactly the same putting my goose down quilt in. Now I've only bought, I think, the summer one. It shows up better on camera, no other reason. One buffalo system, I'd say that's somewhere around maybe 30 litres I am surmising there. It takes up a lot of pack, as where its counterpart here, a summer quilt this, but there's not much in it with the winter quilt either. Look at that, half, and a hell of a lot lighter. Nice alternative to a tent is a bit of bivvy camping, and this is going to form the head hoop of this particular bivvy, which is the Dutch Army. So I've put the hoop of the bivvy up like that, and I'm just going to peg out the head end. These are the pegs from my cot bed mosquito tent, and these will just hold the head area open for me. So the top quilt's ready to put in. This is my summer one. Goose down, foot box, and the place to get in and just put around the shoulders. This is simple, lightweight solution, alternative to a sleeping bag, and in my opinion a bit warmer as well. A much simpler system. This green one here is the summer bag, and I've been warming it somewhere around 6 degrees Celsius above. Been pretty warm in it. I've been warm with the winter one. I think it was -6, but with the wind chill it was claimed to be -14. I didn't get that wind chill. I was in my tarp setup, so that tarp took a lot of that cold away, and you can see that camp on this channel. But never before have I actually used them for a bivvy camp, which I'm really looking forward to now, is ditching some of the heavier sleeping bags and putting these lightweight quilts in. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. It's an investment, and I think it's an investment well worth considering. Now this entire system can be just rolled up, still with everything inside. I reach back and I just let the air out of the down mat, and the quilt can be rolled up in situ where it is, and roll the entire lot up, and that could be put under my pack. Of course, you'd only need to do that roll system if you're expected to move quickly. It's a very beautiful smell of citrus from around here. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to have a couple of nights out in the bivvy with the buffalo, and I know that's going to work. And then I'm going to have a couple of nights out with either the summer or the winter top quilt. Hell of a lot lighter, hell of a lot less volume. Now I use my winter goose down top quilt inside the bivvy just like you saw, and it worked perfectly. I had two concerns. The biggest concern I had was compacting that insulation. Once that insulation is squashed, it's no longer a viable option. because people are concerned it crushes the insulation, but that just hasn't happened for me so far. So that's the next challenge, getting everything you've seen other than the buffalo into 45 litres along with the water, the eatables, the stove, and I've tried and I'm nearly there with it. I'm nearly there. And really any other concerns were secondary to that. So it's back home for me, and I'm going to try all this system in my 45 litres for a winter camp. I can't wait to get out there and do that. So if you're not subbed already, get subbed, because these camps will be good. Until next time, take care of yourself, and I will see you out there. Happy trails.